Hello and welcome back. Dear learners, in this series we have been discussing about the Russian language, its origin, its structure and its nature. We have discussed about the Russian alphabet, the vowel and consonants and the usage of the letters of Russian alphabet in the form of combinations and when pronounced individually. We have seen that how these letters except the hard sign and soft sign are different when pronounced. The role of intonation and stress sign in Russian language has also been discussed. We have seen that how personal pronouns and possessive pronouns play a vital role in Russian speech. We have also seen that how when consonants are used in a devoicing manner, the nature and pronunciation of certain words and expressions are changed. We have been discussing more about the usage of verbs throughout the series, and we have seen that the verbs play one of the most important words in the form of their conjugated forms when used in sentences. As you already know that how verbs in Russian are distinguished from their endings. Accordingly, they are also conjugated. We have also discussed about glagoli движения or verbs of motion in Russian. Now, we already know that there are different kind of verbs used in Russian. We have also seen that while making sentences in Russian, we need to keep in mind the usage of such other words for making simple sentences, interrogative, affirmative and negative. The usage of da and niyat, as well as we have seen that how while adjoining two sentences we make complex sentences. Certain interesting features of the Russian language we have discussed in the previous lessons about the usage of ordinal and cardinal numbers. We have also discussed the days of the week, months of the year, etc. We have also discussed the basic structure of Russian language, and it has been very scientifically drawn upon on the basis of cases in Russian. We have discussed initially the usage of imenительный падеж or the nominative case and предложный падеж, which is called prepositional case in Russian. We have paid a very important attention to the usage of adjectives and nouns. We have also seen that how the ending of nouns are used when they qualify with the adjective endings. So, accordingly they are changed together. In the prepositional case, we have seen that there is a set of verbs like igrach, addikhach, обедать, ужинать, etc. are used with prepositions v and n. Certain fundamentals rules were learned, like whenever there is a name, place, country, town, etc. are used, it is always to be used with v. Accordingly, gender of the Russian noun were discussed. As we already know that masculine gender, feminine gender and the neuter gender are to be categorized according to the ending of nouns. We have seen the usage of v and n in different contexts with the help of good number of examples. And I believe that by now you will be able to make your own sentences, since we have used them in plenty in our own form of texts. In this lesson, we are going to talk about more about the endings of adjectives, since we have already talked about the endings of nouns in prepositional case. We will be discussing the endings of adjectives in prepositional case when they qualify with the endings of nouns in prepositional case with the help of text. As we have already told you that texts are being specifically designed so that you can understand the beauty of Russian language with the help of such expressions which are used in our day-to-day communication. So, shall we go ahead? Here we present you with a text where we have used such words, expressions and verbs, most of which you already know. These are the words and expressions which are used, you can also use in your own communication. Please pay attention while I read this text for you, then we will be discussing in detail about the nature of this text and the usage of such words, verbs and expressions in it. Антон, москвич. Его родители тоже живут в Москве. Сейчас Антон работает в Московском университете на математическом факультете. In the first sentences, if you pay attention, that Anton, which is the main character, is a Moscovite. For this we have used the expression Moskovich. Он живет в Москве, he lives in Moscow, we have used the preposition в. We can also use он учится или он работает в Московском университете. Here we have used его родители тоже живут в Москве, сейчас Антон работает в Московском университете на математическом факультете. So, here if you pay attention to the usage of adjective, we have used Moskovsky Universitet, but when it is changed into prepositional case with the help of prepositions, we have used Moskovskom Universitete. So, it is coming up with a question, где Антон работает? Антон работает в Московском университете. Then further we have discussed about that where exactly in the University of Moscow he works. We have used на математическом факультете. Mathematiский факультет or the faculty of mathematics has been used with the help of preposition на. That is why it has been changed into на математическом факультете. I'll read further. Он преподаватель. Антон хорошо знает английский язык. If we pay attention to the usage here, он преподаватель, since we already know the ending of chel and nitsa are used with gender masculine and feminine. Он преподаватель, она преподавательница. Он учитель, она учительница. Мой брат учитель, моя сестра учительница, etc. You can use the ending of these nouns according to the gender. Here, if we pay attention again to the text, we have used он преподаватель, Антон хорошо знает английский язык. Anton, which is the main character of the text, knows English very well. But here if we pay attention that for English language we have used английский язык. Accordingly, английский qualifies to be to an adjective here, and it makes sense that Anton хорошо знает, he knows very well English language. Его папа инженер и работает на химическом заводе в Москве. Here we have used the possessive pronoun его for the father of Anton. Его папа инженер. Он работает где? Он работает на химическом заводе в Москве. So here химический has been used in prepositional case as на химическом заводе. So accordingly, завод, which is a masculine gender word, qualifies its adjective, and when used in prepositional case, it changes into химическом заводе. Please pay attention once again. Его папа инженер и работает на химическом заводе в Москве. Его мама учительница, она работает в Московской городской школе. Here, since now we are using его мама, она работает в городской школе Moskvе. So, accordingly, here shkola, which means school, which belongs to the feminine gender, the adjective is changing according to the ending of the feminine gender noun. That is why if it has been used with shto, it would be Garatskaya shkola, but when it is used with preposition, it changes into, please pay attention to the text again, it changes into Ana работает в Московской городской школе. Его жена Natasha раньше жила в Kaliningrad. Here, if you pay attention to the verb жить has been used in a conjugated form, but in the past tense. Его жена раньше жила в Kaliningrad. Here the name of a place is Kaliningrad. Accordingly, it has been changed to v Kaliningrad. And as we have just discussed that the conjugated form of verb жить has been used in the past tense. And accordingly, in Russian, whenever we use verb in past tense, we ought to become that these verbs to be used as жить, я жил. If it is a female who is using я, she would use я жила, ты жил, ты жила, он жил, она жила, мы жили, вы жили, and они жили. It is just a glimpse that how we convert or conjugate verbs in past tense. And since it is very easy to conjugate all the verbs in past tense, we put la, l and li, and for masculine and female we use l and la, l with a, like я жил, ты жил, он жил, она жила, мы жили, вы жили, and они жили. So, accordingly, we will be learning more about the usage of verbs in past tense in their dedicated lesson. Let us get back to the text once again. Please pay attention to the pronunciation and sentences while I read it for you. Ее родители и сейчас живут там. Они уже не работают, они на пенсии. Here we have used the possessive pronoun ее for her. Ее родители тоже живут там means her parents still live where? In the Kaliningrad. Accordingly, in the next sentence, we have used the conjugated form of verb работать. Они уже не работают, они на пенсии. So, accordingly, we have used the conjugated form of работать in ani form because it is родители, parents, which is in plural. Они еще не работают or уже не работают, они на пенсии, which means they don't work now and they are on pension. Let us go to the next paragraph and understand the meaning of sentences and expressions used in this text. Here, if you pay attention to the dialogue form where two characters are conversing in Russian, we will learn the exact meanings and the conjugated forms of verbs as well as the usage of prepositions. Ramesh, где живут ваши родители? Антон, они живут в Москве. Ramesh, они работают? Антон, да, они работают. Папа инженер и работает на химическом заводе, а мама работает в Московской городской школе. Here, if you see that how nouns which are used according to their genders are being changed when they are used with the adjectives. If it is any noun which belongs to the masculine gender, for example, Gorad. If I am using any adjective, for example, Bolshoi or big, Bolshoi Gorad, which means big city. Delhi eta Bolshoi Gorad. Delhi is a big city. For example, if I want to change it into prepositional case with the usage of a preposition, how would it sound? Я живу в большом городе. I live in a big city. Accordingly, Bolshoi changes into Bolshom, and Gorad, as we already know, when used with preposition changes into Goradye. Accordingly, Shkola, which belongs to the feminine gender, let us use it when asked with Shto and when asked with Gdzie. Eta Shkola. Let us all again take the example of Bolshoi. Since it is a feminine gender noun, Bolshoi changes into Bolshaya. Большая школа. Моя мама работает в большой школе. Here, Bolshoi, Bolshaya has been changed into большой школе. Accordingly, when in the text it has been used with городской школе, in nominative case it would have been used with Городская школа. We will be discussing more about the endings of these nouns and adjectives in the dedicated lessons. Now, let us go to the next slide and discuss about more about the endings of adjectives and nouns when they are used in feminine gender or neuter gender nouns. Please pay attention to the next slide. Ramesh, ваша мама учительница? Да, она биолог. Ramesh, а ваша жена Наташа тоже работает? Антон, да, она математик. Она работает в университете на математическом факультете. If you pay attention to the entire dialogue, we have used certain names for professions too. For example, as we already know that in Russian, there are certain expressions for professions like учитель, учительница, and accordingly, if you pay attention to the endings of these professions, they are changing according to the gender. Like учитель, учительница, преподаватель, преподавательница. But again, we also have certain other professions which do not change since they have a singular identity, like моя мама врач, мой папа врач, мой брат инженер, моя сестра инженер. And accordingly, like in these expressions, in the text we have used biolog, engineer, mathematic, physic, etc. So, they are free from genders and they are used with on, ana, etc. according to the context. If we get back to the text again, let us see the meaning of the conversation between Anton and Ramesh. Ramesh is asking Anton, Ваша мама учительница? Anton replies, Да, она биолог. Here, for a biologist, we are using word biolog. Accordingly, when asked about Anton's wife, that а ваша жена Наташа тоже работает? Anton replies, Да, Ana matematik. Here matematik, which means mathematician, has been used. It can also be used with on or ana. He further says, Ana работает в университете на математическом факультете. So, accordingly, the maths faculty or the математический факультет has been changed into математическом факультете, as the rules of prepositional case has been applied. So, accordingly, if we pay attention to all adjectives which were used in the dialogue forms, like Moskovsky Universitet changes into в Московском университете. Городская школа has been changed into в городской школе. Большой город has been changed into большом городе. And accordingly, here when talk about the maths faculty, it has been changed into в математическом факультете. Accordingly, we now know that how these adjectives, when used with nouns of feminine gender or masculine gender or neuter gender, they act according to the rules applied in Russian language. Dear learners, now we will be discussing more about the usage of such other nouns and adjectives when they are applied with different genders, like the masculine, feminine or neuter. We will be discussing more with the help of a few more examples. Let us go to the next slide now, so that we can understand them in a detailed manner. Here we have given you a few examples. We will be starting discussing with the masculine gender adjectives and nouns first. Adjectives qualifying masculine singular noun which answers the question "Gijiye." These adjectives with the ending of "ui kratki" or "o e kratki" take the ending of "om" while answering the question "Gijiye." For example, "Novi dom," it changes into "novam domye." "Savremenny город," it changes into "в современном городе," and accordingly, "Большой театр" changes into "в большом театре." Dear learners, here we have seen that how "novi," "savremenny" and "большой" is used with masculine gender noun. "Новый дом," "новый город," etc. can be used with different prepositions. For example, "Новый дом," я живу в новом доме. "Большой театр," я работаю в большом театре. And accordingly, like we have just learned about the usage of such endings in Russian, when they are applied in prepositional case, they are changed. And now we have a set of examples. Let us revise them once again, so that it is clear to you. Please pay attention to the pronunciation while I read it once again for you. "Новый дом," в новом доме. "Современный город," в современном городе. "Большой театр," в большом театре. Dear learners, now as we already know that in Russian language itself, in masculine gender, there are certain adjectives which ends with e kratki, they changes into yem when their question comes with "Gijiye." For example, "Хороший город" changes into "в хорошем городе." "Соседний дом" changes into "в соседнем доме." And accordingly, "последний концерт" changes into "на последнем концерте." Dear learners, accordingly, if you pay attention to the usage of "хороший" and "последний," they ends with e kratki and they are changing into "хорошем" and "последнем." And accordingly, we have used prepositions "в" and "на." You can also use these adjectives with all other nouns which are present in your existing vocabulary of Russian, and you can now create your own sentences. Since we have been discussing now about the role of adjectives in prepositional case and the utmost importance has been given to the different nouns of different genders. These nouns of masculine, feminine and neuter gender play a vital role when they qualify with the adjective endings. For example, like we have just learned that individually when nouns are used in Russian according to their genders, how they change. For example, in masculine gender we have had several examples. Gorad changes into goraje, komnata changes into komnache, akno changes into aknie. Likewise, we also seen that other such exceptions were used to describe that how these expressions are to be learned. Now, we have seen that with the ending of such adjectives which are used with masculine gender, feminine gender or neuter gender nouns in prepositional case, and according to their endings they behave in a different manner. For example, we have just learned through text that how the adjectives are changing. For example, if it is a university, universitet, or Moscow University, Moskovsky Universitet, it changes into Moskovskom Universitete. Accordingly, when we use shkola, we used it with Garadskaya, and accordingly when used with preposition v Garadskoye shkolye, and accordingly when masculine or neuter gender are used, the rule is same. So, likewise we can use another example. For example, ye va krasnam morye. So, here for masculine gender and neuter gender nouns when used with adjectives, more or less the rules applied in a same manner. But for the feminine gender, it entirely depends upon the ending of the adjectives. Now, we will be discussing more in detail in the dedicated lessons with the help of examples about the endings of adjectives of feminine gender and neuter gender. These neuter gender and feminine gender nouns will be discussed when they are paired with adjectives in preposition case in the next lessons. With this, I would conclude this lesson. Thank you.